Hi everyone, this is Dragon Chongyue, and this is the 13th episode of Module Review Update covering modules released in December 2024 and January and February 2025. We're somewhat getting close to the end of archetype releases, and we may be getting more second modules in each batch. As usual, you can always refer to my Google Sheet for all the information, and you can join my Discord server for more discussions. Now, let's get into the video. In December, we have all the arts fighters. For Surtr, the A attack speed allows her to do 2 more attacks in skill 3 before she naturally drains her HP, so with healing support, the gains should be even more considerable. Due to the upgrades improving the resistance ignore, it's naturally more effective towards high resistance enemies. 15.77% damage increase for 0 res enemies, and up to 36.75% increase for 90 resistance enemies. It's more suited towards using her with extensive setups like all the arts buffing components, so if you're using her to hella drop on enemies, or using her against low res, or just high damage reduction enemies, the effects are gonna matter less. The module gives a higher floor for her performance, but not too much for her ceiling. Next we have Viviana Δ, a well-deserved Delta module. Damage-wise is a massive jump up, 45% or 35% increase to elite or boss enemies with 0 resistance, and up to 93% or 76% when they're at 50 resistance. Skill 3 can now kill most elites and a good number of bosses in one use. Unlike the burn module for Ifrit, which we criticized quite a lot before, this module does have a higher damage to burn transfer rate at 18% instead of the typical 8% when against elite and boss, so she can also use her off-skill attacks to build up the burn, so that more effective damage is available by the time she has the next skill. The next patch to the release of this module also sees the release of both Yu and Blaze Altar, which is the foundation of the Burn Elemental team. Although Viviana doesn't synergize with them to a very high degree, she can certainly gain some good efficiency from them. What's a bit unfortunate though is that although the module greatly improves her damage capability, her lack of power off skill and all the criticism we have for the Block 1 archetypes remains as some serious problems for her to be considered super viable. But the module for sure make her much more comfortable when you just wanna use her. Next we have the upcoming operator for global, Siege Altar or Vina Victoria X. Like Surtr, the A attack speed allows her to do 2 more attacks in skill 3, and when under full stack of talent buff, which is 8 allies in the surrounding 8 tiles, and she's not blocking, she gets a damage increase of 21.3%, which is nice considering she's doing true damage. Most of the improvements are in level 1, and for her kit design, the unblock condition is not a big ask, so it's a cost-efficient investment as well. Cons are more of a problem for her as a whole. The full talent stack is seldomly possible in practice due to terrain limitations, so if you use a more realistic condition like having just 3 allies surrounding her, that will be just about 18% damage increase. Next, we have the second module for Exusiai. Honestly, I would have called it BS if you say that they're giving defense ignore to marksman 3 years ago. But as the stats inflation goes on in the game, I think they have a clear idea of what the situation that marksman is in. So this module is basically a power creep from Exusiai's last module. The module comes with a high attack attribute, so a good head start. The A attack speed in base translates to 8 more hits in skill 3. Improvement is especially noticeable for enemies with 500 to 800 defense. Her damage is 122.41% higher than without the module towards 500 defense enemies. So like I said, this module is overwhelmingly superior to module X. The only situation where X is better is when she's being heavily buffed and which means at the same time is attacking aerial enemies. But if you look at the module from the meta perspective, even with this defense ignore, which honestly isn't too much, Exusiai is still massively behind all the new gen single target damage dealers. Just from the sniper class, we have Rei and Narantuya as very direct competitors. And when in a buff environment, like IS or by teammates, which is how you can make her relevant nowadays, the defense ignore naturally becomes less impactful. Think of it, in IS you can easily get her to 2000 plus attack, but she's still only ignoring just 250 defense, which doesn't bother her much anyways. So in conclusion, although Module X still gets to keep like a silver or advantage in very specific situation, Module Y is the better choice for Exia now. Module Y level 3 if you still want to invest in her. Up next, we have Pepe X. For detailed analysis of her overall kit, you can check out the operator hindsight for her. Basically, it further boosts her DPH to up to 7.9k and 24.3% damage increase when the level 1 base effect is triggered, so most of it is in level 1. The upgrades, especially the now doubled SP gain, makes the skill 2 cycles noticeably faster in optimal scenarios and is quite QOL for using in daily. Next, we have two operators who have very good first modules. First, Surtr Y. The module basically gives him a crit hit alongside the additional SP gain, and that crit hit can happen in skill despite not giving him SP. It increases his DPH when the crit happens, and his total skill damage by expectation is increased by 28.6%, which is slightly more than his first module. But the problem here is pretty clear. By picking this module, you're giving up basically everything that makes him good offered by Module X. That includes a faster cooldown, especially when he doesn't pick up enemies off skill, faster attack speed, easier max tenacity trigger at 50% HP, and survival via Sanctuary. All that for 3.2% more damage. And if you consider Cycle DPS, which takes his downtime into consideration, this module no longer has an edge over Module X. So despite increasing the SP gain rate from attacking by a bit, the expected cooldown is still longer than Module X. The older module is just that good. And finally, like we criticized when we first saw this base effect on Halager, Solo Blade Y is just not it. There is no bonus from revival like Dreadnought Y, so if an enemy can kill Surtr once, they likely can kill him again. And you know the thing with Surtr, he only fights enemies that can't kill him. So overall, the upgrades of Y at least brings higher DPH, which is one edge, but that's about it. Module X is just too good a package to give up on. Would still recommend the last module, level 3, overwhelmingly. And then we have Lin Y. It does bring higher total skill damage than Module X, especially when she can trigger the shatters frequently. So in very ideal scenario where there are always 5 enemies in range and shatter occurs with every attack during skill 3, it's a 29.7% damage increase, which is much higher than the 8% from Module X. But that's all they offer. For some reason, both Module X and Y for Lin has the attribute set of attack and defense increase, but Module Y gives her lower stats on both attack and defense. Like, if this is a damage-oriented module, why not higher attack and lower defense? Like Surtr's situation, choosing this module means you are trading the much higher barrier durability and the fast SP charging against range enemies, which works together perfectly in Module X, and that honestly is too much of a sacrifice for using Lin. And realistically speaking, this module itself is pretty mid and not very on point. When there's only one enemy in range, the damage increase drops to 10.89% as well. So in conclusion, Module X is still the goated must-have, and Y is only for higher damage in target-rich environment and is not really playing to the strength of Lin herself. Would still advocate Module X level 3. For the second module we have Chongyue Y. The module has higher DPH than the last one and is relatively cost efficient since level 1 is offensive oriented compared to X, which gives him physical dodge instead. The advantage of this module is more evident when you're using him against tougher enemies where his SP talent is less frequently triggered. But if you are in a team environment where he can get attack or SP supports to help him better secure kills and complement his own SP on kill, Module X may still be a bit better since it results in a faster cycle and higher DPS. So overall, if you're using Chongyue with 4 Sui or Scar the Altar to boost his attack, where he can get faster cycles and frequently benefit from his SP talent, then probably Module X is better. If you're using him mostly solo, put him against tougher enemies where the talent is less triggered, Y may be better. And considering that Y is more cost efficient, I would recommend players who doesn't have Module X unlocked for him yet, or don't use him in the 4th Sui, to go for Module Y level 1+. And to wrap up, we have the February 6-star operator in CN Entelechia X module. The module gives her an okay level of physical damage reduction along with a one-time high HP recovery, which can help her stand a better chance against tough physical enemies. But still, it's nothing game-changing to make her realistically stay alive after triggering the talent. It's not effective against art damage, and just overall not a major address to her problem of having 2 survival talents, but is still rather flimsy and can't sustain herself well enough. Worse off, this module is also completely survival based and provide no improvement to her damage side of things. That's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you all for watching until the end. I'm gonna find myself a little getaway next week and go to Japan for a little trip. Hopefully I'll be back to work on the next operator hindsight as well. So see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.